This is just craziness. Here we are at the trailhead of Delicate Arch, 4:30 in the morning, and we're going to head off to hike this thing in the dark. How crazy is that? Howdy, how y'all doing? This is George the Fearless Rambler. Hoping you guys have a wonderful day. Today we're here at Arches National Park to have some fun hikes, such as heading out to Delicate Arch at sunrise. Sunrise, sunset, sunrise, sunset. Whoa! Ooh, that's pretty fun. And we'd love to have you come join us. Tonight's adventure starts in total darkness. Our headlights on, trail signs invisible, and one famous sandstone arch somewhere out in the night desert. This is our night hike to the Delicate Arch, and yes, we're doing it the hard way. Most people hike this trail in blazing sunlight. We decided to hike it by flashlight, because what could possibly go wrong, right? Just dark out here. The Delicate Arch Trail is about 3 miles round trip with around 600 feet of elevation gain. It's rated moderate to strenuous, and during the day it's hot, exposed, and packed with people. But at night, it's quiet, it's spooky, and the trail particularly disappears. A little bit of confusion there. There's a split in the trail, and one group went up one way. We were stuck at the bottom, and they told us to go this way. So let's hope this is the way. It looks like it's worn. So I'm thinking this is the trail, but I'm not sure. Completely confused at this point in life. Saw a rock, but where do we go? We started at the Wolfe Ranch parking lot and immediately realized this was not a casual stroll. You're relying on reflectors and some rock cairns to keep you from wandering into the desert like a confused raccoon with a headlamp. The first half mile is pretty flat and well maintained. You pass the old Wolfe Ranch and some ancient used petroglyphs. We saw these on our way back, though even in the dark you can feel that history here. People have been walking this route for generations, just not usually at midnight with flashlights and questionable decision making. Then the trail opens up onto solid slick rock. This is where things get real. There is no dirt trail anymore, just bare rock, and you hope you can see those tiny reflectors shining back at you, showing you the way, and those reflectors are few and very far apart. And now every step feels like you're climbing a tiled rooftop for half a mile in the dark. We scanned for every reflector, trying not to lose the trail, and making sure we didn't end up accidentally inventing a brand new route to nowhere. Okay, slippery guys, slippery. We did get lost once on this trail. It was at a T, and we went one direction to a dead end. We had to backtrack till we found the original trail, and then headed up to Delicate Arch. Fearless Ramblers, lesson number 1. If your trail leads to nowhere, you're doing something wrong. After getting off Slick Rock, the final section is the narrowest and the most dramatic. You're walking along a ledge with a rock wall on one side and a serious drop-off on the other. In daylight, it's scenic, but at night, it's just faith in your flashlight. Quite narrow here. It's not a huge cliff going down, about 30 feet, but it's fairly narrow here. You can't see, this is a cliff going straight down, so you're walking along a cliff edge. So right here, the cliff goes down a couple hundred feet, but you know what we can do is just hug the rock wall here and keep going up. We're gonna see some more arches. We just seen an arch a second ago, more like an eye. Yeah, let's just continue on with this hike. It's been pretty fun seeing people get lost. The trail at night is kind of hard to see, but you can see it's getting a little bit lighter here. So by the time we get to the Delicate Arch, it's just around the corner here actually, I think we will be pretty much in sunlight.
It's actually dark here, this camera making it look a little bit lighter than it is.
After we get by this cliff, the trail opens up and suddenly, there it is. Delicate Arch in its magnificent glory.
We made it to Delicate Arch, just right here at sunrise. And I think it's right behind me, there it is. Terry's sitting up here enjoying the view. There she is, she's gonna give us a big wave. She's enjoying the view. And here comes Nikki and Daniel right here. They just went underneath the arch to try to get a picture.
Without doubt, Delicate Arch is the most famous natural stone arch in the world, referred to as the Arch by many arriving visitors to whom this is the #1 on their must-see list. The light opening beneath the Delicate Arch is 46 feet or 14 meters high. The entire rock span, though, is around 60 feet or 18 meters tall, standing alone like it owns the whole desert. Even at low light, it's jaw-dropping. And with a little care, you can walk closer and get photographs right under the arch, selfies included, because if you hike 3 miles in the dark and don't get a photo, did it even happen?
I could fall there and die.
Thumbs up.
And I
Look
could
at this.
fall there and die.
And she made it all the way under the arch.
As the sky starts to brighten up, the color of the rocks become alive. Deep reds, glowing oranges, and soft shadows stretching across the desert. Behind us, the sun rises, and at the distance, the La Salle Mountains slowly appear. This is the reward, and this is why people like us hike this at crazy hours. The early morning crowds are light. Looking down the trail, you see all these people coming. In about an hour, this place will be packed. Then it'll be time for us to go.
This has been a fun morning here, going up to the arch during sunrise. Sunset is supposed to be amazing, but we're not going to be here for sunset. But it's been fun walking up here. We're going to head back the trail before everybody else does and head up to a few more arches. So come on, let's go do it.
The hike back to Wolfe Ranch parking lot feels totally different than climbing up here in the dark. You're going back on the way you came up. Now you're meeting waves of hikers coming up, squeezing past these people on narrow trails. When daylight comes in, the scenery really pops. Twisted rocks, layered cliffs, and strange formations that look like nature was just showing off. And around every bend, there's something new to stare at. As you can see, the scenery is really showing off. The red rocks glow with deep orange and rust color, stacked in layers like giant desert cake. Rocks seem to stretch out across the landscape, and every curve on the trail reveals another wild formation shaped by wind and time. It feels like, and I think we are, walking through a natural sculpture garden. Now this hike back down to Wolfe Ranch is starting to feel like a victory lap. Heading down on this windy Slickrock path, almost trotting across the smooth red stones as the light keeps getting brighter. Even though it's a little bit slick, it's easier going down in the light than going up at night. As we move off the Slickrock and onto the lower trail, you can feel the difference right away. The trail turns into sand and packed dirt instead of stone under your boots. It's easier on the legs, and the trail starts to gently wind between the low desert plants and tall sandstone walls in the distance. As we get close to the end of our walk, we pass the ancient Petroglyphs panels again. Now glowing in full daylight, these carvings are standing out clearly against the rock. It's a powerful pause in our hike, a reminder that people were walking the same route long before our hiking boots and our headlamps hit this trail.
There they are, petroglyphs.
Heading down the Petroglyph side trail, the Wolfe Ranch cabin appears ahead, sitting quietly in the desert like it's been waiting for us to come back. This is a preserved 19th century homestead located near the Delicate Arch trailhead, by the parking lot. established in 1888 by the Civil War veteran John Wesley Wolfe.
What are you seeing there? No skeletons?
It features a rustic one-room cabin, a root cellar, and a corral offering a stark, rugged glimpse into this early pioneer life against this desert rock landscape. From here, it's just a short walk to the parking lot and our truck. But our day's adventure doesn't stop right here. Since we wrapped up our hike to Delicate Arch, it's hard to quit. Next up, another trail, another arch. We're going to head down to the Devil's Canyon Landscape Arch to keep chasing these incredible red rocks formations.
Something about arches. Another hour, another hike.
Now it's time to do another 3-mile hike on Devil's Garden Trail. And this time, the sun's going to be bright and shining.
So which one we're going to?
We're in a landscape arch.
Okay.
Is that where they were going to? Yeah, that's where they were going. You can't come close to it because it's close to collapsing. So you can just see it from the trail. The other one they recommended was the Navajo Arch. Which, if we felt like we wanted to walk up to it, we could.
So we're going to head up to Landscape Arch at this time. Another hike. We really enjoyed Delicate Arch this morning. Now, this is still early morning. It's about 9 o'clock, 9:30. Yeah, it's supposed to get hot today, but we're going to jump on the trail and see a couple arches up here.
Now this Devil Gardens Trail, heading up to Navajo Arch, adds about 3 more miles round trip and takes us to one of the most famous arches on Earth and beyond.
To infinity and beyond!
Right away, this hike feels easier than Delicate Arch. The path is wide, mostly flat, and well defined. And for arches, it is about as friendly as hiking can be. Sandstone fins rise up around us like frozen waves of red rock. And even though the trail is easy, the scenery never lets up. Every few steps, there's another strange shape or natural window in the stone.
Right here. How's the walk so far?
We're walking.
We are walking.
Early on, you can jump off the main trail and check out Tunnel Arch and Pine Tree Arch. These make a great photo stop, quick, easy, and a nice preview of what's coming deeper into the garden. Just keep heading down the trail and suddenly the rocks tighten up and there it is, Landscape Arch. This thing's unreal. It stretches across a gap like a stone bridge that somehow forgot to fall down. Standing near it feels like watching gravity lose its argument. There's signs that point out that they feel this arch is going to collapse fairly soon, but not today, more in that geological time span.
We're going to head up to Navajo Arch. It's a pretty nice little climb up. Let's go up that little hill, and it's supposed to be climbing down into HE double toothpicks. So yeah, let's give this a shot. Here we go. You have to climb on your hands and knees getting up to it. Just follow the crowd. It's a very popular area. Fun little hike.
As you can see, the trail turns rugged fast. This primitive trail climbs up and over slick rocks. And you're going to have to use your hands in few of these places. It's steep, it's narrow, and it's definitely not for wimps or anyone else that's scared of heights. You kind of follow the crowds as you're scrambling up these rocks. You need to trust your footholds on this loose sandstone. This part feels more like an obstacle course than a smooth hike in a park. And that's what makes it fun. About a quarter mile off that primitive loop, a short spur trail branches out towards Navajo Arch. This arch is totally different than the big open ones. It's more like a tunnel carved through a thick sandstone wall. It's shaded, tucked away, and feels like a secret room in the desert. Right under Navajo Arch is a small pond, at least when we were there. That little pond of water makes this spot perfect for photos. reflections of the sandstone, and cool shade in the middle of the desert. It turns this arch into one of the most peaceful places on the whole trail. What goes up must come down. Here we go, going back to the parking lot. This hike is only halfway over. On our way back, we stepped out onto a narrow point along the rocks with a large drop-off on both sides. This isn't a place to mess around, that's for sure, but it's a perfect spot to grab a photo that shows you just how fearless we want to be. Out there, it's just rocks under your boots, open space beside you, and the desert stretching out forever. It's one of those moments where your brain says, "Be careful," and your camera says, "This is the shot." As we head back from this hike, let me give you my thoughts. This hike has given us a little bit of everything. Easy walking at the start, the biggest arch in the world in the middle, and then rugged scrambling to reach a hidden tunnel arch and a desert oasis at the end. 3 miles of wide trail, slick rock climbing, shaded arches, and a fearless viewpoint, all packed into one desert adventure. In arches, you just don't look at the landscape, you walk straight into it. Sand Dune Arch.
Oh, there's a huge roof. Yeah, well, that goes to Skyline Arch.
Another pullover, another hike. What else can you ask for? This time it's a Sand Dune Arch Trail. Though this trail can be fairly short at about a half a mile. If you want to head off to the Broken Arch, yeah, that's 1.4 miles round trip. Let's give it a try. Sand Dune Arch is a popular, easy accessible, family-friendly round-trip hike. It's nestled between 2 large sandstone fins to provide a cool, shaded area with a sandy floor. Now this is kind of unique and a scenic spot in which kids with all the sand find it fun to play. And then leading out of Sand Dune Arch, you can head over to Broken Arch with just an additional mile walk. It can give you a great photo moment, like Terry had. After stopping and seeing Broken Arch and of course Sand Dune Arch, we weren't done with arches yet. We drove over to where many people call the beating heart of Arches National Park, the window section of the park. This is a place where you barely have to hike and the scenery still feels unreal. We started out with that window loop trail, an easy 1.2 mile loop that takes you past some of the park's most famous arches. The trail is wide, mostly flat, and a little uphill. And this was perfect for stretching out our tired legs after those long hikes this morning. As we walk, the arches just keep stacking up. North window, south window, and the turret arch all packed into one small area. It feels like a natural amphitheater of red rock, with giant opening carved into the fins and sunlight just pouring through them. You don't have to look hard here. The views just come to you.
Whoa, look at that.
Go ahead and get your cameras out, because this is a perfect Kodak moment. The beauty is so great, this gives you a chance to save your memories. Heading off from the windows, it's just a quick jaunt over to the turret arch. Now the turret arch is a prominent freestanding sandstone arch. It is paired with a tall, thin spire, or the turret, in which it creates a castle-like appearance. As we walk down from turret arch, the view really opens up. And this is where you can see one of the park's fun hidden features, the parade of elephants. Look closely at this rock formation stretching across the desert. Some of them actually look like a line of elephants walking through the sand, trunks, head and all, carved out of these rocks by wind and time. So let me ask, do you see any elephants? Now if you do me a favor and comment below and tell me how many elephants do you spot? From here, we're going to loop back around the parking lot area, knowing we just have one more arch to see before we head off to dinner.
Okay, when you're done hiking, you need to have a flower to eat.
This arch is a big one, the double arch. It's massive. This is the tallest arch in the park and the second longest, with 2 giant spans joining at one end. That's pretty cool. This hike is only about 0.6 miles round trip, our shortest of the day. It has a gentle slope, making it one of the easiest and most accessible trails in the park.
Where you at?
I think we're at the double arch.
When you're standing under it, you finally understand how massive this is. The arches rise above us like stone portals into the sky. Folks scramble up these rocks underneath, but trust me, this is one of those climbs where the way up feels really brave, but on the way down, oh, yes, it feels very real. But believe me, it's really exciting to do.
Hello, and welcome to Arches National Park. We'd like to invite you to view our free 17-minute park movie titled Window in Time.
As we finish climbing around on these arches for the day, and before we finish up this adventure, we're going to go ahead and make one last stop to the Arches National Park Visitor Center to grab a trinket or two, because no great adventure is completed without a souvenir to prove that you survived it. And no matter how tired our legs get, the next arch is always around the corner, and the next national park is calling the Rambler family to visit. There's always another hike awaiting.
Wow, it's sure been fun coming here to Arches National Park. You know, doing 14 miles of hike. Oh, that was pretty cool. But it's more cool that you joined us. And do me a favor, if you haven't yet subscribed, please subscribe. Hit that notification bell and give me 2 thumbs up, because this is George the Fearless Rambler, ready to go to Canyonlands, signing off. That's about as perfect as you can get. There's someone behind me.